I've got the DJI Osmo 360 right here, and I've got the Insta360 X5 right here. You're looking at both, you're listening to both with everything internal, straight at a camera. And these two cameras are the latest generation from both these companies, but Insta360 has been doing this a lot longer than DJI, at least when it comes to 360 cameras. So comparing these makes a lot of sense. Oh, and also GoPro just announced their latest version of the 360 camera. So if you want to see a comparison between those, let me know. But right now in the world of 360 cameras, it seems competition is finally here and DJI is packing some punches. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with 360 cameras because on one hand, they're great because it's kind of the dream. You don't have to worry about what you're actually shooting. You just hit record and it captures everything, right? That is really nice. But then on the other hand, because of the nature of what you're doing, recording everything, two sensors, stitching it together, all of that, it means that the quality that you're getting out of these cameras, well, for the longest time really hasn't been that good. But we're finally seeming to reach the point where that might be changing. Because for social media, sharing it with your friends and family, 360 cameras have been great for years at this point. The quality has been more than good enough. But if I wanted to use it for like a real production, or I wanted it to match some of my higher end cameras, they just didn't do that for a few different reasons. But it seems that now we're entering the phase that they might actually be getting there. And it's kind of similar to how my phone has been. The iPhone 17 Pro is here, and I use these phones all the time for high-end productions, things that I deliver to clients, things that actually make me money. And for the most part, the quality has gotten so good on phones that I can do that and nobody notices. Whereas if I wanted to do that with a 360 camera, you can definitely tell it has a 360 look. The colors are not what you would want. They're 8-bit instead of 10-bit, and they're just grainy, over sharpened. All the things you don't want from a camera, 360 cameras for the most part have been that. But with these latest generation, like I said, that seems to be changing. The Insta360 X5 is the latest version from what many consider the 360 camera pioneer. And through the years, really not much has changed to the basic formula. The overall design and functionality, it's relatively stagnant. But now that DJI has entered, well, we could see a fresh take and some real competition, which is very needed in this space. And where you see that first is just with the form factor. This is much more of a square design, which allows for a landscape display over the vertical of the X5. Both displays are bright, they're responsive, let you adjust all the settings that are important. And I thought the screen orientation might actually matter, but honestly, it doesn't. Since you're mostly reframing after the fact, the screen here is where I just adjust settings, and they both work great. DJI's menu system is basically identical to what you get on any of their other cameras, and same goes for the Insta360. So this was just a super simple way to pick up and start using it. But when you're diving into settings, this is where you can see some clear advantages from DJI over the X5. And the biggest for me by far is that you can shoot in D-Log. This gives you a flatter profile that gives you a bit more color grading ability and matches pretty well to all their other cameras. But even better, it shoots in 10-bit color. So while doing those color adjustments, you have a lot more data to work with, and you can see a difference. This is a big deal and makes using this camera for larger productions much easier and more manageable. Now, the X5 does have iLog, but you can only use that up to 5.7K, which is a bummer. But the Osmo 360 can shoot in D-Log at its highest 8K mode, so you can get the most data possible. And speaking of 8K, both of these cameras shoot in that mode, but the Osmo 360 can go at up to 50 frames per second, while the X5 only goes up to 30. From a quality perspective, these are some actual meaningful differences, but you only really notice them when you get the footage downloaded into the software. Both DJI and Insta360 have software that let you take full control of the footage you just shot. One of the things I love about 360 cameras, one of the allures it's always had for me, is that it's a camera I can hand to like anyone. Oh, by the way, you are listening to the DJI Osmo 360, the internal microphone. It's about 3 feet away from me on this selfie stick. But I really love that you can hand this camera to anyone. Just tell them, hey, walk around, hold it, do whatever you want. Anyone can use a camera like this. It really just comes down to the post-processing you want to do. And since I'm the one in control of the post-processing, well, I can hand it to anyone and be confident I'm going to get something out of it. I don't know what that's going to look like necessarily, but I'll be able to get something. And that is one of the allures I've always had with these 360 cameras. In this software, you can reframe, move, adjust, have full control over really every detail. I will say, it's clear Insta360 has been doing this for longer because their software is just quite a bit better to use. It's more full-featured. DJI just released this software, so I'm hoping it will get better in the future. But right now, Insta360 is on top. But when it comes to overall quality of the image, which for me is the most important thing, well, I mean, you could be the judge. You see both here. In a lot of scenarios, it really comes down to a case-by-case basis. But being able to film in 10-bit with D-Log means I have much more control over the image, and to me, that is a noticeable advantage. Now, to get footage from your device, the X5 uses a micro SD card, but like with other cameras DJI has released, this has internal storage, and I absolutely love this. You can use micro SD if you'd like, but I choose the internal storage pretty much every single time because I never have to think about it. It's always there and comes in handy. But where Insta360 does come out ahead here is with battery life. It is, I'd say, noticeably better. In my use, I can probably go, on average through 2 batteries from DJI in the same amount of time I can go through 1 X5 battery. That's a big difference. Look, there are a ton of small differences between this camera, but in my use case, I found that it really comes down to why you need this camera. For me, I live in the DJI ecosystem. I have drones, action cameras, microphones, all of them just play really well together. It's all about the ecosystem. So adding on to that, a 360 option, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. And I think overall, the image quality from DJI is noticeably better, especially if you're going to edit the footage. But you've seen the footage for yourself, you've seen the features, so let me know. Which one are you choosing?